Most people think public procurement means the government buying office supplies, vehicles, or equipment. That's only a small part of it. Public procurement is the process governments use to buy goods, services, and construction work using public money. This includes medicines, school computers, roads, bridges, police vehicles, software, public transport, waste collection, and consulting services. In simple words, public procurement asks, how should the government spend public money to achieve the best result for citizens? Imagine a government wants to build a new hospital. It may hire a construction company, purchase medical equipment, install software, arrange security, and contract cleaning services. The government must decide which company should receive the contract. Is the company qualified? Is the price reasonable? Will the work be completed on time? And was the process fair? That entire system is public procurement. We use a similar process in everyday life. Imagine renovating your house. You compare prices, check previous work, review materials, and choose the contractor offering the best balance of price, quality, and reliability. Choosing only the cheapest contractor may lead to poor work. Choosing someone only because they are your friend may waste money. The same principle applies to government, but the responsibility is greater because the money belongs to the public. The first major principle is value for money. This does not always mean choosing the cheapest option. A cheap product that breaks quickly may cost more in the long term. Value for money considers price, quality, durability, maintenance, performance, and long-term benefit. The second principle is competition. Governments invite companies to submit bids or tenders. Competition gives the government more options and encourages suppliers to offer better prices and quality. The third principle is transparency. The requirements, rules, and evaluation criteria should be clear. Companies should know how the winner will be selected, and the public should be able to see how major contracts were awarded. The fourth principle is fairness. All qualified companies should have a reasonable chance to compete. Contracts should not be awarded to friends, relatives, political supporters, or companies offering personal benefits. The fifth principle is accountability. Officials must be able to explain why a company was selected, why another was rejected, why a project was delayed, or why costs increased. A typical procurement process begins when a department identifies a need. It may require ambulances, school furniture, software, roads, or medical supplies. The government then defines the budget, quantity, quality, and delivery timeline. After that, it publishes a tender. Companies submit bids containing their price, experience, technical plans, and timelines. The bids are evaluated using predefined criteria, and the strongest overall offer receives the contract. But procurement does not end when the contract is signed. The government must monitor whether the supplier delivers what was promised. Were the correct materials used? Was the work completed on time? Were safety and quality standards met? Did the project remain within budget? A fair tender means little if the final contract is poorly monitored. But here's the catch. Public procurement is one of the biggest corruption risks in government. It involves large amounts of money, complex contracts, and powerful private companies. Corruption may happen when officials share confidential information, design tenders for one preferred company, accept bribes, approve inflated prices, or accept low-quality work. Sometimes the corruption is obvious. A company with no experience wins a major contract. Equipment is paid for but never delivered. A road costs far more than similar projects. Sometimes everything looks legal on paper, but the competition was never genuinely fair. Another problem is the obsession with the lowest price. A company may submit an unrealistically cheap offer, win the contract, and later demand additional payments. A cheap software system may fail after implementation. Low-cost equipment may require constant repairs. Good procurement must avoid both overpaying and buying something so cheap that it becomes useless. Poor planning also causes failure. A government may purchase technology that workers cannot operate, order the wrong quantity, ignore maintenance costs, or build infrastructure without budgeting for repairs. For example, a government may buy thousands of computers for schools. But if schools lack electricity, internet, teacher training, or maintenance, the computers may remain unused. The purchase was completed, but the actual problem was not solved. This is why procurement must support policy goals. Hospitals need working equipment, not purchase receipts. Schools need usable learning tools, not boxes in warehouses. Cities need roads that remain safe, not projects designed only for opening ceremonies. Emergency procurement creates another challenge. During pandemics, floods, wars, or major disasters, governments may need to purchase supplies quickly. Normal tendering procedures may be too slow. This can save lives, but it can also increase fraud, inflated prices, and political favoritism. Emergency procedures should speed up purchasing without removing accountability. Digital procurement systems can also improve transparency. They can publish tenders, receive bids, track spending, and identify suspicious patterns. For example, one company may repeatedly win contracts, several bidders may submit nearly identical prices, or a supplier may charge far more than the market rate. However, technology alone cannot prevent corruption. Clear rules, professional staff, independent oversight, and real consequences are still necessary. And here is the brutal truth. Citizens usually notice public procurement only when something goes wrong. A bridge collapses. A hospital receives faulty equipment. A government website costs millions but fails. A project is delayed for years. Or a politically connected company receives a suspicious contract. But successful procurement affects people every day. It keeps hospitals supplied, roads maintained, schools operating, and public transport running. So public procurement is not simply government shopping. It is the system through which public budgets are turned into real services, infrastructure, and results. A large budget means nothing if the money is spent badly. At the Learning Studio, we will understand public procurement as one of the most important tests of government honesty and competence. Because the real question is not only how much money did the government spend, it is what was purchased, who received the contract, was the process fair, was the price reasonable, and did citizens receive real value for their money?